ladies and gentlemen, to another edition. You know, I was thinking about this thing, right? If I said the words retroactive tomorrow, like what would that mean to you? Retroactive tomorrow. It's a phrase with some weird context, right? It's a phrase with evocation, right? It's got a degree of evoking to it, right? It's like, what does that mean? It's this thing I thought of earlier, and it's got a lot of different. It's paradoxical and oxymoronic in the structure of the two words paired together. But there's so many different aspects in which I ended up dissecting it from. So initially, the first premise that I was speaking from when I even coined the idea, retroactive tomorrow. So as I get older, as a man, as I evolve more into the man that God sees fit for me to be, I'm learning the importance of tomorrow, right? Because initially, it's so easy to live for today. It's your I wanted to say prerequisite, but that's not the right term. It's your given. It's your general, like it's the baseline. Today is the baseline, right? But then it takes a certain mind, it takes a certain ability to be able to account for and heed to the importance of tomorrow. And I mean, we see it, right? You don't worry if you don't worry about your bills that's coming up, you're gonna feel it once it comes up. If you don't worry about things that need to worry you, pretty much there has to be room left for you to account for tomorrow, right? And if not, then it's survivalism. If you possess the ability, if you evolve, because it's not a thing that has to be given. Some people are just naturally good with this, but if you evolve into a space that allows you the account to, or rather, the capacity, right? The vastness within your capacity to say, okay, everything, all of these efforts are for today, but I'm gonna stash some efforts for tomorrow. Isn't that what the idea of saving money is? Like, okay, you got a check. You could spend all of your check right here. Like you technically could do that. But come on, like after a certain age, you get what I'm trying to say? Like after a certain life, you've lived a certain amount of life. How many checks you gonna go through and then not realize like, damn, I probably should have put something up for tomorrow. So it's in these little ways that, of course, ignorance is bliss, and while we're living in the bliss of ignorance, it's fun. But eventually, that ignorance will become abrasive enough to where it hurts us. And if we don't take heed to the pain that we're administering unto ourselves with our own ignorance, our lives will be depressing. It's really quite honestly that simple. So, taking the idea of saving money, right? And okay, like saving for a rainy day. Essentially, you're saying I'm accounting for tomorrow. Today is this. I got this money today, and that's fine. But I'm gonna put some money away to account for tomorrow. So now, when I think of the term retroactive tomorrow, I've learned like, okay, I've always been a forward thinker, and I didn't really know that until I knew that. But it's just kind of the way that I operate, and to a certain degree, listen to this now, you're gonna love this. To a certain degree, the me that I am today is living out the dreams of the me that I was yesteryear. Does that make sense? So the 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old me who was trying to do things. Like if you go back through my Instagram and look at my sophomore year, my junior year in high school, it's like I was trying so much. Like I was being so experimentative, experimentative. There you go. Trying all these things, throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks, and eventually things began to stuck. And I threw so much shit on that wall, all of the shit that stuck became compiled into who I made myself into. So then now, 10, 12 years later, the version of myself that I am now is living out the wildest dreams of the version that I may have been yesteryear. So then now let's keep that in context. We just added on 2 bricks. We added on the savings, like the savings account, and then the idea that the you that you are today is living out the wildest dreams of the you that you were yesteryear. And even if you don't see that in your immediacy, like if you don't see that in your immediate reality, like when you look around, you don't necessarily feel that, okay, look, that's fine. But what you're doing right now is you're microscopic, okay? You're looking at it through a microscopic perspective, and the microscope is yourself, right? So now we pulled out a little bit. You know when you're on the Apple Maps and you pinch it like that. I need you to pinch yourself, like pinch your life, whoop, and then draw the perspective out. And when you draw the perspective out, more perspective comes with grander. You know what I'm saying? Like it comes along a grander timeline. So now stay with me now. Look, you may not be able to relate to that in your here and now, but if you think about it, Harriet Tubman dreamed about doing what you're doing right now. Hmm? Frederick Douglass dreamed about doing what you're doing right now. He said, what age, like if Frederick Douglass could come talk to you and then he asks you, what age did you learn to read? And then you tell him 3 or 4 or 5. Nigga, he might pass out right there, nigga. Hmm? Like, you know how at one point in time, people was driving Model Ts, Ford, Henry Ford, Detroit, assembly line. You hear me? It went from horse and carriage to Model Ts, right? Then if you do 100 years later, we doing Model 3s on the Elon Musk side. It's a new thing that's happening. The Lord said, "Behold, for I am doing a new thing in you." Like, pay attention to the new thing that I'm doing in you. So the only reason I'm saying that is because look at the way that things shift. Do you know that Elon Musk is living out Henry Ford's wildest dreams? Hmm? I'm just saying, think about that, bro. Or better yet, did you know that the person who was once driving the Model T in yesteryear, the first car ever um, produced. Now, if you took that same person in that same lifetime, and then if you were able to allow them to have a conversation with the owner of a Tesla Model 3, I just want you to think about what that dialogue would be like. Okay? So then now tie that back into what I'm saying. Even if you can't connect to it within your immediacy, bro, you are blessed. Okay? And you're blessed because the life that you're living is your ancestors' wildest dreams. You understand me when I say that? Okay, now let's really go in now. I just build it up. Now I'm about to really go in now. Okay? Hold up. Whoa, 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 whoa. That sun is coming up. That's the best time. That's when I get to cooking. When it's dark. You see my skin, bro? The time that I come out is this color of my skin. Dark, nigga. That's when I come outside, nigga. When it's dark, nigga. And then I get that holy rising. I get that 3 a.m. witching hour. I get that holy rising. Okay? Boom. So now we think about the idea of retroactive tomorrow. I'm starting to really live in tomorrow. So think about this. Think about this. The life that I'm living right now, not completely, not 100%, but a vast majority of it is predicated on the intentions and manifestations that I had as a teenager, bro. Which is why I said I'm living out the wildest dreams of my teenage self right now. So I'm very fulfilled with life because all of the things that I may have wanted to do in another time. I'm doing them right now. It's happening for me right now. So then you gotta imagine there's things that's not happening for me that's gonna happen in the future. Things that's happening now shouldn't have happened to me before because I wouldn't have been ready for it. I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't evolved enough. I didn't think big enough. I didn't think clear enough. You know what I'm trying to say? But then the version of myself that I am now has the capacity within myself as a vessel to withhold all of those blessings, to withhold all of those dreams, to withhold all of those visions. Outside of that, before I was just, like I said, throwing shit against the wall. So then now the version of myself now, if I keep myself in tomorrow thinking, the 27-year-old me now, if I were to think for the 35-year-old me tomorrow, when that 35-year-old me comes, watch this, you ready? If I don't think about him, he's gonna come anyway. That's the funny part. Like the time is gonna pass anyway. I'm not planning on dying no time soon. So if I don't account for him, he's not gonna account for me. Like you gotta separate it from you. Like it's an entity outside of yourself. And if you don't care for that entity outside of yourself, it's not gonna care for you. Okay? I devoted time and energy to this version of myself before I got to this version of myself. So now that I'm at this version of myself, I can revel in the work that it took for me to get to this version of myself. Now that I'm here, if I account for the 35-year-old version of myself, living in tomorrow. Okay, now hear me when I say that because there's the power in that statement right there. I'm living in tomorrow. I'm not even necessarily just thinking for tomorrow. I'm living in tomorrow. I'm futurism, right? What's tomorrow? Like we talk about the chip, we talk about AI, we talk about. I'm embracing because it's like, what does tomorrow bring? I'm tomorrow thinking. I'm forward thinking. So when you see the Cybertruck and when I see the Cybertruck, we're interpreting it through two different filters. When you see the Cybertruck, you see what should be a Ford F-150. When I see the Cybertruck, I see, oh, shoo. You just gave us the future 100 years early. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I'm already planted in future thinking. So, all in all, right? If I'm accounting for the 35-year-old version of myself right now, that means that all of my efforts are being leveraged to that version of myself. The same way all of my efforts at 15 was being leveraged to the version of myself now. So if I am able to employ forward thinking, future thinking, all of the things I do today gonna be dedicated for tomorrow. Now you literally living in tomorrow. It's not that you can't enjoy today. The joy of today comes from loving for tomorrow. My joy from today comes from how much I love tomorrow. Like I'm not just this guy who's just like just be. Yeah, I want you to be, but be smart too is what I want you to do. You're not a fucking deer, okay? You're not a dog. Dogs have the ability to just be. They have the right and privilege to just be. I don't have that right. I don't have that privilege. I'm a being. You see how I do? Like ing makes it a verb. Like doing, creating, being. So it's a thing that we actively have to do and not something that just happens passively. So in me actively wanting to be, I'm not only thinking about today, I'm not only accounting for today, but I'm accounting for tomorrow too. Because there's gonna come a time where what? You're not gonna wanna have to work for the rest of your fucking life. You're not gonna wanna have to slave for the rest of your life. You're not gonna wanna have to, and even outside of that, you wanna employ a purpose-filled life. What are you here for? You're not a donkey, bro. You're not a giraffe, bro. You're not a tiger, bro. Why am I saying all these things? You cannot just live a life and then just live a life. And then another tiger gonna pop up or another zebra gonna pop up, bro. You have the authority as a human being. You have dominion over the world. You are to leave something, bro. You are to create something, bro. You are to think something. You are to make other people better. Like, can a tiger go run down on another tiger and then go give the tiger a pep talk, nigga? Can a giraffe go run down on another giraffe and give it a motivational speech, nigga? No. Can a llama go run down on another llama and teach that nigga the market? Or teach him real estate? No, bro, because you're a human being is how all of those faculties even come to exist. Why do you think animals don't have stock markets, nigga? Because you're a human being. And And I know it sounds plain, but we don't think it is plain, so we don't employ plain, adaptations. Son, think about tomorrow. So then let's think about the term that I just said, retroactive tomorrow. For me, what that means is if I stay planted in the idea of tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, I'm going to be thinking about tomorrow when tomorrow becomes today. And because I thought about tomorrow today, when tomorrow comes, I can live in it healthily because I planned for it, because I accounted for it. So if 30 come and I never planned for what 30 should look like when they come, who the fuck for is that? My parents, nigga? Is you shitting me? Who the fuck for is that, nigga? It's your life, bro. Nobody else's. So, for instance, retroactive tomorrow. It's a retroactive joint. So when I account for me turning 30 and 30 comes and it's what I look like, it's a semblance of what I want it to look like, kudos to fucking me. Pat on my back, bro. Because when 30 comes, guess what? I'm not even worried about 30. The only reason I'm worried about 30 is because it's ahead of me. So I'm forward focused. Once 30 is here, I live in it. I no longer have to think about it. I am it. But what you don't realize is your present is an opportunity to tailor your future. So once the future comes, you so gung-ho and controlling in your here and now because you don't do enough emphasis on the tomorrow. If you did a lot of emphasis on tomorrow, you wouldn't have to be so controlling in today. You wouldn't have to have so much anxiety in today. Account for it. I'm not saying you make $1,000 a week and you put $995 into tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. Be practical, be realistic, but also be fucking thinking, bro. Be thinking. Retroactive tomorrow means that once I'm there, I'm there. So then I never, all right, this is what it is. I never come out of forward thinking. Forward just comes. So when forward comes, I'm just existing in forward. But I never, so like, once I'm 30, I don't switch to like, okay, let me just be 30. No. Once I'm 30, new goal, new mission, new drive. Why you think niggas die? Because they don't have nothing to live for. Why you think niggas retire and just get fucking sedentary and start shitting up their back? Why is it that some older people shit up their back and then some older people be in the malls and walking up and down the beaches? And you get what I'm trying to say? Like, no, something is happening. You know what I'm saying? Something is happening. There's a dichotomy that's being broken down there. There's a difference. There's a disparity, right? And I need to know what that disparity is. How is it that Warren Buffett, 90 years old, still cranking the markets up? Boy, he's still one of the richest, boy. When you don't have nothing to live for, bro, you don't have anything to live for, bro. You can, like, think about it. If you don't have nothing that's gonna make you to live for, what's gonna make you live, nigga? So once you stop working and once you stop doing this and once you stop doing that, there's no drive anymore. The engine just turned off. You don't have no reason for the engine to be on anymore. My way to combat that is staying forward thinking. You wanna know what else happens when you stay forward thinking? You account for mortality. You account for attrition. Let's really talk about it, bro. If I'm always in today, I'm not thinking about attrition. Not nutrition, not eating. I'm talking about attrition. Like atrophy, muscle attrition. Like when you don't work out for a really long time and you start to shrink in size, whereas one time you was working out a lot and you was swelling up in size, that's attrition. So then now that concept is happening on every aspect of our life. If our brain is a muscle, the more that we use it, the more it swells in ability and capacity. The less that we use it, the more it shrinks. That's an attrition the brain. So if I'm thinking about tomorrow, I'm not, I'm eating whatever I want. I'm busting my liver out because I'm drinking every night. No, I'm thinking about tomorrow. Nigga, I want to be 45, 50 and lit. Like, lit, like moving, functioning, not hurting, not living my best life. So that's where my focus is, bro. All of my today is going for tomorrow. Niggas like, yo, you not tired? You work 16-hour shifts, nigga. You think I'm playing around, broski? I don't have time to play, bro. And the thing is, I do got time to play. But if I tell myself I don't got time to play, then I don't got time to play, bro. The power of life and death lies where? Where does it lie? In the tongue. So instead of me speaking death on myself, I'm gonna speak life on myself. And then speaking life on myself is disciplining and structuring my time. Everything right now is for tomorrow, bro. It's locking. It's really not rocket science, bro. That don't mean you can't enjoy today. In you preparing for tomorrow is enjoyment for today. You think I'm not having fun when I go to the gym, nigga? You think I'm not having fun when I'm making money, nigga? You think I'm not having fun when I enjoy the fruits of my labor? But I'm still worried about tomorrow. That's still my number one priority. So when tomorrow comes, you don't have to think about it anymore. I gotta think about a life that I'm living right now for a lack thereof of thought that I didn't employ at a certain point in time. And I know you feel it. I know you can relate to that. There's a certain degree of life that you're living right now that is a direct result of discrepancy in thought that you may have had in yesteryear. So now because your lack thereof in thought of yesterday, of your ignorance yesterday, you suffer for that today. And you pick up the slack that you're younger you couldn't pick up today. You do it today. So then now you get ahead when you pick up all of this slack and then do more. Like, don't just cancel yourself out. Like, don't even yourself out. Like, oh, okay, I'm good now. Like, no, you pick up the fucking slack because you know better now, so you do better because you're older, you're wiser, you're more mature. You pick up the slack and you do more. You employ yourself to do more. And the only way you connect to more is if you connect to more. But if you only connect it to here and now, all you want to do is what's required for here and now. And to some extent, it forces us to be like in a survivalism. Retroactive tomorrow, because when today is here, I'm worried about tomorrow. Today is never the priority. The only reason I even structure to today the way that today gets structured is for tomorrow. Like, I need my Monday to be good so I can have a good Tuesday. Then I need my Tuesday to be good so I can have a good Wednesday. And then I need that to continue so that I can say, damn, I had a good week. Like, how do you have a good week if you're not having good days? And then how do you have good months if you're not having good weeks? And then how do you have good years if you're not having good months? Okay. It's a chronological nature to it. More than chronological, it's a hierarchy of existence. Today, into tomorrow, into the week, into the month, into the year, into the decade, into the century. You get me? It's just exponential. You feel me? It's bigger exponents. But you still the same thing, right? You're the variable and time is the exponent. So you need to square yourself. You need to cube yourself in right now. And then we grow exponentially when we factor in tomorrow today. So when tomorrow comes 3, 5 years from now, you've already accounted for tomorrow. And then when tomorrow becomes today, your intention never changes. So once tomorrow becomes today, in that today, you're still focused on tomorrow. That's what makes it retroactive, because all you're doing is just shifting into your intention, shifting into your intention, shifting, like you live within the intention that you created yesterday, today. And then you'll live within the intention that you set for tomorrow when it comes. So be a dreamer, be a thinker, be a curator, be a creative. Every single human being is a creative. Oh, just because you ain't put that outfit together like how I did, Do you know that can't nobody make that sweet potato pie like how you make that sweet potato pie? Because they didn't know, but you put, they didn't know, but you put nutmeg. Shh, don't tell nobody. Shh. You put nutmeg in the sweet potato with a little bit of cinnamon and some other secret ingredients. Nigga, if you did it like nobody else could do it, then what is that? A creative. Creatively did that thing. You distinctively did that thing. You uniquely did that thing, and that's what made you you. You smell me? So everybody is creative. You take that creativity, you implore that into tomorrow, and then you let the chips fall where they may. Don't be so that's the contrary to it too. Don't be so controlling. You're not God, nigga. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, nigga. You're not God, bro. So set an intention because he told us to he said make the plan plain, write it on tablets so that any man that comes and sees the plan could take it and run with it. That's verbatim. That's not I'm not paraphrasing. It said take it and run with it. On me. I said, oh God, no, God was doing lingo before lingo was lingo. He said, just take that and run with it. He said, make the plan so bare. No, you keep doing all the self. This is me. I'm not even, I'm talking to myself. You want to keep adding every single self-help book. I love books. Don't get me wrong. There's books everywhere. But you don't need another piece of knowledge, nigga. Like, you don't necessarily need another piece of knowledge. What you need is intention. You don't necessarily need, I'm not saying not to read the book. The book gonna help, but it's not the essentiality. When you wrote the plan and made it plain, it didn't have a million self-help books. It didn't have that. It had you actualizing yourself into your best self, bro. And a lot of that come with intention for tomorrow. If you care about God, nigga, you gonna care about tomorrow. Like, you can even take it there because how can I claim I love my creator but don't cherish the days that he ordained on earth? Because it's not like, all right, you just rock out. Like, no, he said, this is the first breath, this the over with. Like, he know, like, he saw it. Like, from the before I ever lived out one of my days, he already had the whole joint. He made it plain. So that when I saw it, I could run with it, right? So then now he's just imploring me to do the same thing. Make it plain. Have a plan and make it plain, bro. And write it down so that when you or anybody else can see it, they can take it and run with it. Simple, you're not God. So when you do the intentions for tomorrow, for your retroactive tomorrow, you set an intention and you live with the results. And if the results is not close to where your intention is, you set the bar higher for yourself. Because if you got a result and you told yourself, dang, I could go harder, then you can go harder. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But it was beautiful that you set the intention where you set it and then realized you could go harder because you needed to check your own temperature. Because you needed to start talking to yourself differently. You needed to start seeing yourself differently. You needed to start seeing, oh wait, I can do that. I know I was capable of that. But when I walk with God the way that I need to walk with God, when I'm aligned in the spirit I need to be aligned with, oh, I'm capable of I can do all things. All right, I'm not gonna. But in reality, there's a lot of truth to that. Like, so set the bar for yourself, and then set it higher, bro. Set the standard for yourself, then meet the standard, then uphold it, and then do another one. You say, you know what? I'm comfortable with 12-hour shifts, bro. Let's crank it up a little bit more. Or if it's not putting those efforts there, it's like, okay, I'm comfortable with this. What more can I add to this space? God's calling us to increase, boy. And the reason why retroactive tomorrow is important is because it allows you to manufacture increase. It allows you to manufacture expansion, bro. Like, you know, when you make a shirt and then you gotta get the text sheet and then you gotta do all the specifications and then you send the shirt to the manufacturer, and then what he do? What do he do? You need to tell me what he do when you send him the shirt. Man, he send that thing in bulk. He send it in bulk. So with us, how do we manufacture happiness? How do we see, you gotta take that word out of the context that we know it to be. It doesn't only exist in the physical. Something happened where you created a formula for a thing to go from 1 to 100. That's exponential growth. That's manufacturing exponential growth, right? That's the importance of the Industrial Revolution, right? So now we're going back to history school. And like that was the important, like how we're in a technological revolution, a technological boom, and there's an importance there because there's an exponential growth. Anytime there's an exponential growth, unseen, unprecedented, is going to cause a renaissance. Harlem Renaissance, unprecedented black growth that we've never seen exponentially. That's a renaissance. The Renaissance of like the Italian Renaissance, the 1400s, exponential growth. Da Vinci, right? Michelangelo, right? Okay. Exponential growth on an unprecedented rate. The only way that we can contextualize that for the people now and then to understand what happened is to call it a renaissance. There's a word for that. So you got to do your own renaissance. Ugh. And recognizance. Ugh, now I'm going crazy. And rendezvous. Now, every big R word you got to do. You got to be your own renaissance. And the only way that that happens is through the idea of exponential growth, and we can really make exponential growth plain by manufacturing the growth. And a simple way to manufacture exponential growth, because you could do 1 plus 1, that's 2, and that's growth, and I love that. I love that. I'm not gonna lie, I love that. But when God put his hand on you, bro, ain't no 1 plus 1, bro. Ain't no 1 plus 1, bro. He doing 1 times the next number. And keep that in mind, bro. So he gonna do 1 times 2, that's 2. 2 times 2, that's 4. 4 times 4, that's 8. 8 times 8, now you talking. Come on. Look at how quickly it just turned up like that. We're about to go to 16 that fast.